Welcome on into the free show before the free show.
Who are you?
It's Mal Pal.
Hi.
Hi.
Mallory's in because Pickle is out. Pickle is out because Pickle has moved to Mongolia, and we wish her the best very much.
There's no Texas high school football in Mongolia. What is she going to do?
There's no way to verify that. No, we are, she's a little under the weather. Pickle is a little sickle. And so we are, we're on the power play here. Or rather, no, we're on the penalty kill, I should say.
Yeah.
But we got our esteemed backup. We should get you... What a derogatory way of describing your very important job description.
No, that's okay.
Our backup.
That's okay, because that's not my actual job description here.
I
have another job here, but I'm just you guys' backup when you need it.
You're a QB too.
Yes.
You're a QB too, which is good.
Okay.
Hey, listen. You know what?
Guess I am.
Chase Daniel has made a very, very nice living being a QB too, and throwing like. Are you familiar with the Ballad of Chase Daniel?
I don't think so.
So Chase Daniel, of course, went to South Lake Carroll.
Okay.
He went to Mizzou.
All right.
He helped lead Mizzou to some of its very best years, and including a win in the Cotton Bowl. So Chase Daniel gets drafted in the NFL. I don't know where he got drafted, but he gets drafted. And Chase Daniel has been a backup for pretty much his entire career.
Okay.
And not pretty much. I mean his actual entire career. He was drafted... Let me see. Where can I find this?
I'm no
There's
hope on
no
this.
way.
I'm
There's no
sorry.
way. So he's playing for the Chargers now, which is something I learned today.
Okay.
But he has, in the course of his career, he's been in the league since 2010. I believe that's the case. Let me see if I can find this.
Okay.
Where's his draft thing? You're really failing me.
I'm sorry.
No, not you.
I'm
talking
about.
about.
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, I am
no,
so
that's
sorry.
Not your fault.
I'm just. I was gonna say. Am I more of the Ben DiNucci?
You are the Ben DiNucci of this. Okay, so I guess I can't find when he was drafted. So Chase Daniel, let me tell you. Chase Daniel was drafted in the, God almighty, this is not on Wikipedia, which is not great.
Wikipedia is failing you.
It really is.
Wikipedia never fails. You should
so
believe
I guess he
everything
was he not drafted? Or what? He was not selected in the 2009 NFL draft, so goes undrafted.
Okay.
And he gets picked up by the Redskins as a UDFA. Okay.
Okay.
So he gets drafted. He has stuck around in the league since then. In 2010 was the first time he was on an actual team. 2010. He has thrown in his career since 2010. He's thrown 261 passes. Okay.
Okay. Not bad.
He's made 5 starts. Okay, he's appeared and appears to be 69 games. Nice. But he is a very sparingly used quarterback.
Right.
But he is a backup because he's a backup quarterback, right?
And you know what? He's making bank.
Oh, that's where I'm going.
He's making bank.
Because let me tell you something. He is. Let me see if I can find how much money he's made over the course of his career. He has made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me put it this way.
Millions.
In 2020, he signed a 3-year, $13 million contract. Okay?
Wow.
In 2018, before then, he signed a 2-year, $10 million contract. Okay?
Wow.
In 2016, he signed a 3-year, $21 million contract.
Jeez.
Okay?
Dude is bacon.
Chase Daniel.
He's got the life.
Career earnings.
Okay, no.
Chase Daniel has made more than $7 million per NFL start.
Yeah,
in his life.
That's amazing.
He has made $37 million over the course of his NFL career by functionally, I mean, obviously you've got to be prepared, and being a backup quarterback's a lot easier than this.
Of course.
But when Sunday rolls around, more often than not, Chase Daniel holding that clipboard.
Yeah. And okay, that sounds like the life, but you know what's even better? Being on the practice squads, because they don't make as much money.
No, they do not. Let me tell you, they don't.
But they're making more than I am right now for not.
For sure. Well, they're making a lot more than I am too. But yeah, no. So his career earnings, according to Sport Track, this has been a great pre-show. So I'm just looking over the things. He has made 37. This is not counting what he's going to make this year when he's owed a little more than $1 million. He has made $37,828,471
Wow.
to be a backup quarterback.
Okay.
That is what I'm telling you is the life. That being QB2, that's what you want. You don't have to take the hits. You just have to be prepared. You have to do all the homework in case you have to come in. You got to be ready.
Of course.
But
which is exactly what I did today.
that's exactly right.
That's exactly what I did today. So being
that Pickle was out. Yeah.
Of course. So being QB2 is not a bad thing. It is
no.
good thing.
No.
So can I start making $7 million now?
We can talk about that off air. That's fine. Yeah, he made $7 million in 2016 for the Eagles. $7 million.
Yeah.
Good for him.
A QB2.
All right. Hit the theme expo. Let's go! Free money! Free
How to sing blue baby. The shot glass in your hand.
Roll. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name is Greg Tepper. I am the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, texasfootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We're on all those things.
Yes, we are on all those things.
Or you're listening to us on the podcast. Thank you, Mallory. Or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over here in this chair, sitting over there, making us sound good, keeping the train on the tracks. She is my mal pal. She is your mal pal. She's everyone's mal pal. She's Mallory Hartley. Hi, Mallory.
Hi. And QB2.
How is your QB2? I'm just going to
Can I just be called QB2 from now on? I kind of like that.
I'm going to start calling you QB2.
Okay.
How was your weekend?
It was great. I didn't do. It's funny. I was going to talk about this in the pre-show. We already had a topic.
We didn't really
appreciate.
Commandeered it.
No. But. I appreciate the weekends so much more now that I'm full time. I just really, I really do.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And they feel so much shorter.
Yeah, that'll happen. Whenever you've got like an actual thing to do on Monday. Oh yeah.
You're like, oh.
That's crap. Right. Today is Monday, August 16th, 2021. 101 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to
Steve Carell.
Cool.
Or Michael Scott, whichever one you prefer.
This is episode 1221. On today's show, my friends, I'm going to plant the seeds for I'm gonna plant the seeds for a segment 1 year from now, and I'm gonna issue my 5 bold predictions for the 2021 Texas high school football season. Which, if you remember,
calendars.
I did this in 2020, and then we just did a segment where I went back and revisited it. See, this is long-term booking, and so we will get through my 5 bold predictions for the 2021 Texas high school football season. In the back half of the show, I had a conversation with North Forney coach Eric Luster, who is the new coach there. Took over new coach at North Forney. Took over for the retiring Randy Jackson. So I caught up with him. One of us works out a lot. Tune in later to find out which one of those two I'm referring to, either me or Coach Eric Lesser of North Forney. Coming up here at the back half of the show. Do we have first 4 through the door?
We sure do. It was Tony Blaylock, Daniel Agnew, Rob Hadaway, and Aaron Arbuckle. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in,
Veteran
my
crew.
friends. A programming note. So you may notice that Mallory's in. We called in the backup today. We went to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Are you left-handed?
No.
We went to the bullpen. And pulled in QB2. Pickle is sick. Hopefully she feels better. Pickle, if you're watching, we hope you feel better. But. Tomorrow I will be out. I have a personal matter to attend to. And then Wednesday, if Pickle is better, then we will have we'll have a girl power show. We'll have a Women Belong in Sports show with Malpal and Pickle if she's feeling better. And if not, we just won't have a show. Or maybe we'll see if
Aw.
Powers wants to come in and do it solo. So I don't know. A couple programs, but I will be out Tuesday and Wednesday. So just a programming note there. Because I know people like to they like to plan their lives around whether or not they have to tune in to Facebook at noon.
Yeah,
Anyway.
of course.
Mallory, did you put breaking news on this?
I did. It is breaking news.
Mallory, we are now about a week away. 1 week from right now, it's going to be game week.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
1 week
I'm
from
so excited.
1 week from right now, it will be week 1 of the 2021 Texas high school football season. Now the games won't be till Thursday, right? But we will have. We'll be preparing for week 1. We'll be in game week.
Yes.
1 week from right now, which is very exciting. Everyone's really excited about the 2021 Texas high school football season, most notably around these parts. You may have noticed we kind of like that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so, you may remember, longtime viewers of Texas Football Today, and by long time, I mean like a couple of weeks ago, we did a segment wherein I revisited some predictions that I made before the 2020 season. And I went about 500. Right.
2.5.
I went 2.5 out of 5.
2.5
out of 5.
Not bad.
And so what I want to do is I want to plant those segment seeds again.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go and I want to dig myself, get my trowel. I want to dig myself a little hole. I want to sprinkle some of those segment seeds in and then cover them up and water them so that then a year from now we can have a segment where I can revisit these predictions.
And you can brag that you got them all right.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so I'm prepared to issue my 5 bold predictions for the 2021 Texas high school football season. Now, before we start, I will issue the same disclaimer I issued last year. I am not making predictions about the direction of the pandemic. I am not going to make predictions about what COVID-19 is going to do. Please go do your part and get vaccinated. It impacts way more than you know. So I am not going to make – these are all going to be on-the-field things, assuming we have a relatively normal season, okay? That's kind of the basis that I'm working on. I'm not going to make any predictions on the COVID front. So there's that. Let's start with prediction number 1. My first bold prediction. Offenses will return to pre-2020 levels of 28-plus points per game. You may remember that we did a segment about a month ago about looking at the impact of the pandemic or what 2020 did to offenses in with the pandemic, or at least we're giving some sort of impact to what the pandemic did. And one thing you will notice is that we had our lowest scoring output in years, in a little more than a decade, when it dropped down to about 27.1 points per game. That's a 1-point drop from the average of a year ago. That's a huge drop as far as, because this is a relatively consistent number.
Right.
It'll bounce between about 27.8, 28.3, around there, but it's always around that 28-point per game model. And the reason it's so consistent is you just have a huge group of data to draw from.
Right, it's hard to get those
it's
outliers.
tens of thousands of Texas high school football games, and it all tends to that. Yeah, you have some games that are like 70 to 65, but you've also got games that are like 14 to 13.
But there's so many of them that it always stays the same.
It always averages out to about 28 points.
Right.
Well, last year we saw a pretty precipitous drop down to relatively down to 27. I think that's a one-time thing. I think that is something that is due in large part to the lack of off-season work, the inability to get together and install offenses, things like that. I think offense is going to bounce back. I think this is going to be a bounce-back year. I think we're going to be over 28 points per game on average per team. I think that is my big bold prediction for 2021. We're going to see a bounce back in offense. I think that overall Texas UIL 11-man Texas high school ball teams are going to average more than 28 points per game like they have before 2020. Last year was an aberration in my mind.
Well, I think two teams also have had a bigger offseason too, trying to
100%.
make up for what they didn't have last year.
Absolutely.
So I agree. It may even go up
Who
a
knows?
little
Who
bit.
knows? Maybe it goes up to normal. But I think that if you think that if you believe that the drop in offense is staying that way, I just don't think that's the case. I think that we're going to have a return to relatively normal things, offensive output, which is 28 points per game. That's bold prediction number 1. Bold prediction number 2, and I think this is my boldest one.
That's pretty bold.
There will be no first-time UIL Texas high school football state champions. None. Now, we had 3 last year, if you remember. We had 3 state champions that won a title for the first time. The 2 and 6 man in Sterling City and Palmyra, and then Jim Ned. I think we're not going to have any. And here's why. If you take a look at our top 10s that we have right now, less than 50%. In fact, only 2 in 6A of the top 10 have never won a title. Only 10 combined in the 2 5A top 10s. Only 5 in 4A. We are right now the top 10s, the teams we believe are going to be very good this year, tend to be blue bloods. Those are teams that we think are back that are going to be back. Now there are a couple of ones that I'll be honest have me a little bit nervous. Okay, for example, the number 1 team in 3A Division 2 in our rankings are the Franklin Lions.
Yes.
Franklin's never won a title. So I'm basically saying I'm going to take the field in 3A Division 2, right? That is bold, right? But you look everywhere else, the number 1s that we have, Mart, 8-time state champions. Refugio, multi-time state champion. Jim Ned won their title last year, right? Carthage, Argyle, Denton Ryan, Aledo. We've got Austin Westlake, number 1 in 6A. Now, obviously, we're not, being ranked number 1 is not necessarily me personally predicting you're going to win a state championship.
Right.
But I think that we're not going to have any first-time UIL state champions this year. That's probably my boldest one on this list. But
yeah, it's pretty bold.
I'm just going to go for it. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Scott.
Bold prediction number 3. I'm running this one back. There will be a UIL 11-man Texas high school football running back who averages 250 rush yards per game. I missed it last year.
Very close.
I was close. I think we're at 239 for Trevion Sneed.
237, I believe. Yeah, very close.
I think we're going to have one this year. I think that, as I said, I think offense is going to take a little bit of a step forward. I think we're going to have one running back who averages more than 250 yards per game. We had a couple back in 2019, Kendra Miller of Mountain Enterprise most notably, averaged more than 250 yards per game. I think we're going to have at least one UIL 11-man running back average at least 250 yards per game.
Do you have a prediction on maybe who that will be? I was thinking, well, I would say Jadon Blue. I think he'd probably be the closest, but since he opted out,
he would have been kind of the star, right? The one that you would have gone with.
Think.
Generally speaking, whenever generally speaking, with these types of names, what I've noticed over the course of my career, it's somebody you're not thinking of.
Right.
It's a breakout player. It's a guy who's a little bit off the radar. It's a guy who suddenly you're going to look up and be like, oh my gosh, this guy's leading the state in rushing. Right. Like Jonathan Brooks, we thought he was a really good player. He really burst onto the scene last year.
Right.
Kendra Miller the year before at Mount Enterprise, we thought he was a pretty good player. He exploded in 2019. So what I would say is it's probably somebody we're not thinking of.
Right.
That it would be easy for me to say like Xavier Wishart at Jim Ned. Right?
Right.
But, I don't think he's that type of guy who's going to put up those giant numbers. He's much more just a bulldog workhorse type guy. But furthermore, generally speaking, it's going to be some guy on a team that we're not thinking of right now. So that's my third bold prediction. A UIL 11-man running back will average 250 yards per game. If I get this wrong, I'm just going to say it the next year too.
You're going to keep going until you're right. I respect it.
Number 4. 5A will beat 6A head-to-head, and 4A will beat 5A head-to-head. Okay?
That's a good one.
Now, you might be thinking, that's crazy.
I already know one off the top of my head.
What are you saying, Tepper? What I'm saying is when the dust settles on non-district play, you've got a lot of teams playing cross-classification games. 6A's playing 5A's, 5A's playing 4A's. Generally speaking, you don't have a ton of you don't have 5A's playing 3A's. There's been like 4 every year. But what I'm saying is with 5A will play 6A, 4A will play 5A. I think the smaller classification in both of those are going to win the head-to-head series. Now, I'll say this. I don't think this is necessarily that bold. Because
it happens every year.
It happens pretty regularly. If you go back to, let's just use 2019 if you want to go and get out of a non-pandemic year. If you want to get out of there, 2019, when 6A played 5A, 5A won the overall series. 5A won about 55% of the games against 6A teams. Same thing with 4A played 5A. That you had the 4A teams beat them at about 55 to 60% of the time. The reason that is that these are really 5A teams will play 4A teams, and generally speaking, these are 4A teams that are pretty good that want to challenge themselves by playing up.
Right.
And so as a result, what you end up getting are really good 5A teams playing 6A teams.
Right.
That maybe aren't as good as, or at least not district champion type teams.
Gotcha.
So I think when you, especially in this non-district play, keep an eye on these teams, and keep an eye whenever we have cross classification games. I think that you will see the smaller classification beat the bigger classification more often than not. So I'm going to say on the overall record.
Last year, Denton Ryan beat Denton Geyer by 3 points or whatever, and they're playing again this year. So you're definitely going to keep an eye on that.
I'm not saying they're going to sweep. I'm not saying every single game the 5A team is going to beat the 6A team. What I say is when
they did last year.
Grab them all in aggregate, when you grab them all in aggregate, the 5A teams are going to have a winning record against 6A teams, and the 4A teams will have a winning record against 5A teams. That's my fourth bold prediction. My fifth and final bold prediction for the 2020 UIL Texas high school football, or rather 2020 Texas high school football season, is actually one that's going to come off the field. So 2022 is a realignment year. We're going to have new districts for the 2022 season. I think, and everybody's wondering where the cutoff is going to be. And generally speaking, the UIL does announce the cutoff numbers before realignment day in February. When they do, I think the 6A cutoff number is going to jump, and I think that the 6A cutoff number is going to be about a little bit above 2,300. Now, you might be saying to yourself, "What in the heck does that mean? Like, why do I care?" This would represent a pretty sizable jump in the size of 6A, okay, or at least as far as where that number is. This presently right now the cutoff is at 2,220. And you're thinking, well, okay, 80 kids, that's not that much. When you consider that the year before, it moved up, the previous realignment, it moved up 30 kids. The previous realignment, it moved up 40 kids. The previous realignment, it moved up 50 kids. The previous realignment, it stayed the same. The previous realignment, it moved up 10 kids. Previous realignment, it moved up 25 kids. Generally speaking, this is incremental. I think the UIL is going to come with a big number for 6A. I think that because of the new schools that are opening and just the way that things are shaping up, I think that number is going to get inflated. And as a result, if you are a big 5A team, I think you're going to stay put. And I think that, depending on what your numbers do, obviously. But I think that number is going to go up. So you may have teams that have cropped up to 6A that have to drop down. Right? You may have those types of teams. I think the realignment number is going to be above 2,300. It's going to be like 2,303 is my official guess. That's not true. I'll say 2,300 on the nose. But I think that you are going to see a jump in the 6A number simply because of where these schools are being built and these schools that are opening. I think it will have to because of the population centers that are swelling and the population growth that we've seen in the state. So my fifth bold prediction is that when realignment numbers and the cutoff numbers get announced, it will be 2,300 or above. I think there's going to be a big jump there. So there they are, my 5 bold predictions for the 2021 Texas high school football season. Hey, me in the future, who went back and watched this to remember what these are. Good to see you. You're looking great. I'm sure everything's going great and nothing terrible has happened. So, hi, it's good to see you. Be nice to your wife and your kid.
I'm excited. I'm excited
to
see your future.
We've just planted the seeds of that, and we'll see it sprout
to grow.
into a segment a year from now. So there it is, my 5 bold predictions. We are at Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. It's our subscription package, 2 magazines, a year's worth of exclusive online content. Never a better time than right before football season, which again, a week from today, it's game week. TexasFootball.com/subscribe makes a great gift as well. Become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Malpal, you were down in San Antonio with us, right?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah,
Right?
I vaguely remember seeing
Yeah, I did a little bit of work.
you. We were down there at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention, catching up with coaches. One of them that we talked to is the new coach, the very new head coach of the North Forney Falcons, Coach Eric Lester, who was promoted after Randy Jackson retired real late in the offseason. We had an opportunity to sit down and talk with him. It was our first time talking to him as the head coach. Here's my conversation with North Forney head coach Eric Lester here on Texas Football Today. Greg Tepper, Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here in San Antonio, the THSCA Coaching School and Convention with the new, and I mean new head coach of the North Forney Falcons. It's Coach Eric Lester. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations
Well,
on the
man,
gig.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You're taking over there, being promoted to head coach after the retirement of Randy Jackson, who, of course, we're all very fond of. And this happened, I mean, I think today is July 18th or something like
Yes.
that, and this happened on July 6th or something?
It happened like probably, I want to say like last Thursday.
If
We
you're
made
saying
the announcement.
last week. then-
last week,
Yeah.
the announcement was made last week. It was a quick turnaround. You know, he wasn't sure that's what he wanted to do. He kept going back and forth, but man, the great testament to Coach Jackson is, man, that he gets all his coaches underneath him ready for a role. He even told the kids the same thing. Doesn't matter, you know, I might be in a car wreck one day. You know, this program is going to keep going because what we got in place because of the kids. So it's an easy, smooth transition. You know, me going from an assistant head coach to the head coach. Coach Jackson did a great job of getting the program going.
Yeah. What was your reaction to? I'm sure there was a meeting. I'm sure there was a call. And what was your reaction to getting the big chair?
Well, the big thing was, you know, he came up with this idea. I'm gonna be flat out honest.
Yeah.
You know, it was like June 24th. He was like, "Hey, you know, man," he started this whole deal of coaching coaches, the mastermind, which is awesome. Man, if you're not a part of that, man, looking at Elite Coaches Mastermind, he started that, and he was like, "Hey, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. Are you ready?" I was like, "Sure." And so it was one of those deals that went from June 24th to last Thursday. And the most humbling thing about taking over was what the admin thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was really humbling to hear how they say, we have all the faith in you. We know this is going to take off. You're going to take it to even higher heights. And I know, and coming in and taking over after a legend, that's Coach Jackson's a legend. The guy writes books, you know. So, you know, I'll read them,
Yeah.
but I would never write a book. I'm just a guy who loves coaching football, and to come in after that and to have the program where it's at is an honor.
Well, and you're in an interesting situation where, you know, you're taking over a program that, I mean, it's not broken. You know,
No.
there's nothing's broken here. But at the same time, every coach wants to put their stamp
Yes, sir.
on the program. So how do you, and I'm asking you, you've had all 10 days to think about it, how do you go about putting your stamp on a program like this where you've already been a part of the program and things like that? How do you go about making it Eric Luster's program?
Some of the things are going to be easy to do. You know, Coach Jackson always, like, we have two helmets. You know, we're going to change one of the helmets to white and get away from the black and blue, something small like that.
Yeah.
You know, we have core values, but the core values got to be mine. You know, so I'm more of a servant leader, and that's how I got the job, is being a servant. You know, so we're going to pour into our kids, but now we're going to ask our kids to pour back into our community. I'm huge into being on the community. You know, so we're going to do a lot of things like that. Man, I'm a passionate, fire kind of guy. That's going to come out in everything that we do. You know, for us, the pregame, the stuff that we do, that's going to be more of the changes that we're going to make. You know, we're going to have Coach Jackson was such a strong leader for his building character. My role was just make sure, man, that the kids had fun, and we're going to continue to do that. So it's not going to be a huge change. The training's on the track. Mm-hmm. Coach Jackson got it rolling. All I got to do is make sure that, you know, I got a great coaching staff. He hired a great coaching staff. So the guys that are there, one of the good things about coming in this late is the coaches they didn't have a chance to jump ship. They couldn't even leave. So I got him in contract for another year. So, man, my DC's an awesome guy. Man, Coach Ludlow is my OC, smart guy. Mm-hmm. All those guys are going to be in place. We're not going to change the offense. We're not changing defense. Because like you said, you know, most head coaches, you take over programs that have been struggling for years. Yeah. You know, I'm taking over a program that's on the rise. Man, what a all glory to God. What a great blessing that is to come in and take this over. So you're not gonna have a huge change, just some subtle changes here and there that fits my coaching style.
So, taking a look at your 2021 staff or 2021 team, do you have a feeling quite yet? And then maybe you don't, but do you have a feeling quite yet on what this Falcons team is going to hang its hat on? What this Falcons team in 2021 is going to be about?
Honestly, this is what I want it to be about. Is our defense. Everybody talks about our offense. When we're fast paced. We fly around and get up and down the field. We're throwing the ball all over the field. But honestly, I really wanted to be about our defense because once again going back to Coach Jackson, tough people win games. Man, and I learned a lesson. From Dennison. Man, Dennison didn't have the biggest guys on the field, but man, they played hard. They played fast. And that's that's our model. We're gonna just fly around and play hard and play fast, and let everything else take care of itself. But at the same time, I'll be how can I say this? We got a quarterback that a moving quarterback that can sling it. Man, our receivers are good. We got some young guys that are gonna be we have a junior class that's gonna be really good. They just got to come out there, man, and be varsity ready. And once again, going back to my coaching staff, that's going to happen. What I want to hang my hand on defense, but honestly, man, our offense is going to make some things happen.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Give me a name that maybe people aren't familiar with right now from this Falcons team that we're going to be talking about at the end of the season. Who's the guy that you one or two guys that you think could be that breakout star for this Falcons team?
Man, okay, there are some guys, man. One of them is going to be our center, William Bresty, big kid, about 6'6", man, about 320. He's going to be a star. He's going to be a guy to watch. Man, we got a guy we took off the basketball court. He was our point guard last year for our basketball team. Deshaun Brundage is going to turn some heads. Been going to camps. It's awesome, man. He's a basketball kid, but he's going to football camps, so you got to love it. He's going to be a star. He's coming in, taking over, man, after a great back in Ty Collins. But he's going to be a star. We got another kid named, we call him Biscuit. So I'm trying to think of his real name. I give everybody nicknames, and I forget the real names.
We call him Biscuit.
Biscuit, because we tell him he's one biscuit away from being a lineman. He's a big kid. He's a big kid. But Markel Banks is his name.
Okay.
And so he's going to be another a running back. We had a kid that played corner for us last year, coming over as slot receiver. Talented kid. Tylen Crochet is going to be a good one. Of course, a name to look for. And we got a quarterback battle, but Mike Phillips, we hired his dad as a coach, but his son is a really good quarterback. And we got a defensive lineman. I keep talking about offense the whole time, but we got a defensive lineman named Nick Acuna. Nick, man, got some valuable plays. A sophomore, he'll be a junior this year. Got some valuable time on varsity last year, but he's coming in, man, and all eyes are on him because once again he was trying to replace Roderick Brown that went to UNT that could just ball. So we're blessed in the fact that, man, all these kids got to see last year's group how they went about doing things, and all these guys now are going to try to, next man up.
Coach likes his guys whenever you ask him, name one or two breakout guys, and he's like, well, here's like 8.
Yeah.
Here's like 9.
I couldn't name just one.
I love it. Hey, listen, you love your roster. That's a lot to like there.
There's a lot more, but those are my guys, though, right there.
Okay. Finally, the most important question is, you're making the move to the big chair. And I got to ask about what Mrs. Luster thinks about that because I'm sure she has to keep your ego in check. She got to make sure your head doesn't get too big. Is she concerned about what the big chair is going to do to your ego?
No. And here's the greatest thing about Mrs. Luster. Mrs. Luster can care less about what chair I sit in because when I come home, I'm just Mr. Luster when I come home. The fun fact is that Mrs. Luster planned a Florida vacation last week. I just got in last night. I drove 17 hours straight to get back. Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, because Mrs. Luster wanted to go to Florida. We weren't changing that because my motto is family over everything. Yeah. And I got a little girl and she wanted to go to Disney, so we went to Disney, had a great time. But I had to drive all the way back because Mrs. Luster don't understand that Coach Luster has a new title on the job, and she let me do my thing. I could be on the phone as long as I was driving. But if we were on the beach, phone had to go in the bag. At Disney World, I could only put my phone out to take pictures of my daughter and my son. Other than that, I was all hers. But she's a great coach's wife, man. I couldn't ask for anyone better. She supported me. Like I said, we moved all over the state of Texas.
Yeah.
And here's the greatest thing about, being where I'm at now at North Forney. We love it. We got a great community. Man, we got a great church that we go to. My wife said the only thing that's going to change is our address.
Yeah.
So nothing else is going to change. She wants a bigger house. So I messed up, and I showed her my salary. So I messed up. I shouldn't have told her that.
Listen, we all got bosses. Yeah. I got a boss. Yeah. You got a boss. Yeah. We all got bosses. He is Eric Lester. He's the new head coach of the North Forney Falcons. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig, and best of luck.
Man, appreciate it, man. You guys do a great job. Thanks for having me.
There he is. Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. Get him off of my skin. Not Eric Lester. Get me off the screen. Eric Lester, the new head coach, very new head coach of the North Forney Falcons, joining us there at THSCA Coaching School and Convention. And that is, I really mean new. Let me see if I can find the date of when he was hired. Yeah, so, he got hired on July 8th. July 8th, he got promoted from, he was their assistant head coach. But Coach Randy Jackson retires, and they promote from within, obviously, in my opinion. He does have some head coaching experience. He was at Corpus Christi West Oso for a little bit back in the earlier part of the 2010s. And so he does have some head coaching experience. I'm excited to see what he does there. We appreciate his time at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention. Coach Eric Lester of North Forney.
Dude eats his spinach, too.
Yeah. I do think it's funny that he and I are sitting next to each other and we both work in football. It's like we're basically the same. Me and Eric Lester.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
Eric Lester and I, exactly the same in every way.
I'll give it to you.
Both of us obviously work out.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate Coach Lester joining us. Let's go over to the Mallory zone.
QB2.
Let's go over to the huddle to QB2 and get some final thoughts from Mallory Hartley.
How about our former cover boy this weekend in the comeback win over the 49ers?
You'll need to be more specific because we had
2
multiple cover boys who were very good this week.
Right. Well, this one was about Shane Buechele, but you can say the same about Sam Ehlinger.
Shane Buechele showed out for 49ers, is that right? Who's he play for? I feel bad.
The Colts.
The Colts. No, Sam Ehlinger plays for the Colts.
Yeah, Shane Buechele plays for the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay,
so Sam
sorry.
Ehlinger was we're saying the same thing. Sam Ehlinger starred for the Colts in their preseason game. Shane Buechele scored what ended up being a game-winning touchdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Chiefs. I mean, look, it's NFL preseason, so it doesn't really matter. But
still.
Awesome. It's very cool to see guys like that, guys that we've come to know and talk with and get to know around here in these parts, go out there and show out. And, the Colts, sounds like Ehlinger is going to have like a shot at the starting job.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
Because of Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is hurt. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that the problem? So he may have a shot. And, I think all of us around here know how fond we are of Shane Buechele and what he's been able to do. So we certainly wish him the best, and hopefully he can stick there. How cool would it be if they had QB1? I don't know who their backup quarterback is, but if QB1 was Pat Mahomes and QB2 was Shane Buechele. That'd be pretty great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It'd be very cool. It just hit me because you're an Arlington person. You're like the Arlington connection with Shane.
We played Shane Buechele when I was in high school because I'm a year younger than him. So he was 2016, I was 2017. So we went head to head. I didn't, but I was there.
You were speaking the royal we of like the Arlington Colts.
I am a we.
I'm gonna take
Arlington Colts.
And did Shane Buechele have a big game against you guys?
Oh, that was so long ago. I'm pretty sure that we lost pretty big time, I think.
Yeah, well, Shane Buechele had a tendency to do that. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, congratulations to both those guys. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Remember, we are off tomorrow, but we will hopefully be back on Wednesday. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to North Forney coach Eric Lester for being our guest. For Mallory Hartley, good job, Malpel.
Thank you.
I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, Please Get Your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Wednesday on Texas Football Today.